Welcome back, ladies. Thank you again for joining me with the Sophia Files. We have a great episode today. We're going to be covering magical and mystical things and events, the uniqueness of the human condition, and elements around gratitude, and some of the pitfalls around the lack of gratitude, taking things for granted, and then love stories. And sort of, I think what we were talking about, why we picked love stories, had something just to do with, seeing if my guides will fill in the blank for me. It was tapped into the human condition. So they're already talking, they're already like, and here's why it's important. Okay, anyways, and then we're going to be talking about messages from the other side for your daughter, Danica, and then coworker intentions. So we're just going to flesh out what we can around those things. But I'm going to let you guys kind of start off with your name and what you do. I'll start with Miss Danica.
Hi, my name's Danica Olson. My business is called Goldilocks Glimmers, and I am a psychic medium, but I specialize more in mediumship.
Right, and Miss Ariel.
Hello, my name is Ariel, and I am of the Lunar Claire. I am an intuitive psychic medium, and Danica and I will be attending our first fair this weekend, so super
Yay!
looking forward to that at the Blend.
Y'all be partying without me. I'm sad.
Me too.
And Miss Melissa.
I am by day a teacher of nursing, and I do the psychic fairs on the weekends. And I am trying a new technique today. I'm doing a puzzle because I want to see if getting my mind focused on something else helps the psychic abilities. But I love to channel my guides and meet with deceased loved ones, talk to them, and just deliver messages from the other side.
Awesome. And my name's Sophia Sterling, and I work in mediumship, in psychic, intuitive, claircogency, and I help run the Blend, which is in Richardson, Texas, as a wellness center. We're going to be having our first and monthly psychic fair. It'll be at the last weekend of every month. So do come join us if you're in the area, and if you're in the upper northwest, go join Miss Melissa. We got all we need is a plant out in the East Coast, and we'll have the whole nation covered. All right, so let's get started. So I'm gonna actually they're wanting me to go first on the magical and mystical things, so I'm gonna let them talk real quick, and because I don't know what it is they want to say. They're saying the big thing that they want you to know is that the more you look for it, the more you're gonna find it. Even just the will to participate and the will to see those layers are almost acting like colored lenses. And so on the one side of it, they're joking about the rose-colored glasses, and they're saying, you can look out there and look for energy of the lighter side, and you'll find it. And then you can also put on dark shades and see that as well. So a lot of our ability to sense it is tailored to your ability to believe it and your ability to pursue it, because those are the things that thin the veil. And I think, and they're kind of saying people don't talk about how much our desire for the veil to be thin actually thins it for us. So, and then Ariel, I'll let you start. Magical things and magical events.
Just there's a reemphasis on being the good that you want to see, and I'm just thinking, I want to see where they want to connect more of the lunar cycle with the thinning of the veil. I believe that more people are becoming, like, not superstitious, but they're becoming more aware of the lunar cycles. And so that's definitely creating the output of like forward thinking energy. And I think really you had hit it on the head as far as when you choose to look for the brighter things, you will find more of the whimsical and oh my gosh, I can't believe that I'm seeing this, versus if you're looking to have a bad day, then all that you will see are just bad things.
And I'm going to pitch this to you, Ariel. What is if I were to say that the lunar cycles are acting a little bit weird, what do your guides say about that?
They've always been weird. So there hasn't really been anything, I want to use the word singular, like there hasn't really been a singularity to it. They've always been influenced by the repelling energy for some reason.
I love that. All right, Miss Danica, what are they saying about the mystical and the magical?
I'm actually being told to share my personal experience.
Yes,
So I was not aware that this was going to come up. So,
let's do it.
well, mine started with actually a book that I read, um, giving you ideas on how to look for signs in that. And so I started doing some of the examples that it told you to try. So I would like in the morning when I do my 5-minute journaling, I would write down signs like that came to me that I specifically see things. So I was shown a sign, like think of like one of them was like a pink unicorn, or like there's a bunch of them. But I would write it down so I wouldn't forget what it was. And then throughout that day or the next couple of days, it would show up. And at first
Mm-hmm.
I was really skeptical and I was like, this is full of shit. This can't really be happening. So I would actually take a picture of it to like line it up with what I had written down to like prove to myself, okay, you're not crazy. Like this shit is really happening.
Yes.
So it started out like just little things like that to show me that there really is something else out there that is magical that we can connect to if we really do believe in it. And
Yeah,
then just more and more things started happening. So it just got more and more magical the more I stepped into it.
I love that. And as you were talking about that, my guide said those would be called corridors of reality, right? So they're kind of, you have to choose to go down them.
Yes, yes. So I have a friend that's actually going through this right now. She's being shown rabbits everywhere all the time, like real rabbits.
Interesting.
So yeah,
And
it's
what
pretty
do you
cool.
feel? What do you feel the message is for that for around her?
It's just spirit letting her know that they're here, they're connecting with her. She
Yeah,
just needs to pay attention and recognize the signs if
I
she's
love it.
open to it.
Immediately, I'd be like, never mind, that's not appropriate. Melissa, I'll let you go. What is it you're feeling around it?
It's everything that you guys have been saying. They're saying that it really is a gift. Magic is a gift, and it is what you want it to be. It is looking at the rabbits and finding the meaning in it. It is um, being in awe of a sunset. It is just almost like its own little life force. It's what animates us when we need it. So it is just you finding what it means to you.
Wouldn't you think the most offensive thing you could do to a magical collective is to convince them that magic isn't real? Because it basically it forces limitations that aren't there. When you stop believing in magic, all of the things, all of the ways that energy works on our behalf is falls underneath that quote unquote definition. It's not provable. It's emotion that does affect our reality. They'll prove it, right? And they're saying, you know, the closest thing you're going to see to that are people who have managed to learn, like for instance, if you see like a practitioner of qigong, right? Those individuals are highly precision point accurate with their energy. And so it's one of the reasons why they can essentially punch into the air, into your auric field, and you'll have people start crying or they'll start to freak out because we all have a little egg around us typically, right? And it usually, depending on your sense of energetic hygiene, it's either going to be brittle like an egg or it's going to be strong like a I don't know why they're saying armadillo's back. I don't know why that's coming through, but and so they're kind of um, when you punch through that energetically, you know what I mean? And I think I will be real, you know, the only time that I use that level of technique is when I feel that somebody is bullying another person around me. And I'll just try to send a shard directly into their third eye, like, stop, I see you. There's no need for this. And so that's one of the only ways that I would say I would ever energetically attack someone. But really, it's just a knock on the head, like, cut it out. The other thing is, have you seen those, really, I would consider them almost airbenders, right? But they can sit like by a pond and just will ripples into the water or like will the trees to do. It's so wild. And I almost feel like the more that you understand that's a capability of your own energy, the faster you master it. Because now you just expect it. You're like, I know that I can control the wind. It's just time for me to figure out how.
Yes.
Ooh, here's a question. And I'll start with Ariel on this one, and we'll go around to see what element of energy do you feel you would wield the strongest or the best, and ask your guides.
Immediately, it was water. It's just
Yeah.
almost like a shower. But it's just I just see it as like a filtration system, and the people walking in. So what are those things called? Like the little houses, and it has the wheel attached to it also. And it's almost like they walk into the house and then they can walk
Oh,
away clean,
I know
like
what
the
you're
water
talking.
wheels,
Yes,
water wheel
yeah.
houses. And so that's nice. A rejuvenating spring, they said.
Yes.
So, but not only, I need to learn not only for others, but also for myself.
Amen. See, the guides are with it. Danica, what do you feel you'd be strongest with?
Well, I was immediately shown fire.
Interesting. I love that.
Yeah. Um, what I'm hearing is because I will burn everything down to get to the truth.
There is a lot to that. Yes. And you also you keep people warm. You have a reassuring energy to you, a very I feel like that's also why you've had to keep a lot of people at arm's length, because they want to come too close. They want you to generate the warmth for them.
Yep. I'm
And
learning boundaries.
good. Well, that's half the battle. And Miss
Yep.
Melissa?
Water.
Water.
It's
Interesting.
it is a necessity of life, and it has its own magical properties. Like, it's really not meant to do what it does. It freezes. You can have it in mist, you can have it in snow and rain and ice, and I like that chameleon type effect of like being changing.
Yes.
So yeah, absolutely.
I love how we don't have any green thumbs here, because it's not me. I promise you.
I would love to, but yeah, I'm not that great at it.
And I would have thought it would have been something else, but my guide said very strongly air for me. And I don't know why. I don't have any particular fondness or affiliation, but that's what they said, so I'm gonna say it. Okay. Now, they want to go deeper on corridors of reality. So, Ariel, I'm gonna let you tell me what they mean by that.
The corridors of reality almost is like choosing to step out of one's current situation and to move into one that is more preferable. And for some reason, even whenever we were discussing a minute ago, they were bringing up the childlike wonder, and how as we get older, that's what we look for, is to see the world through the children's eyes, especially as people become parents. You see things in a different light and perspective that you may not have seen growing up. But as far as the corridors, it's just the pocket magic that one can create in times of need.
Oh, we lost you, Ariel. What was that last bit? The pocket what?
Which I don't know. I think it was just the pockets of need.
Love it. And also too, I love this correlates as well, like a pocket universe. Like, if you ever watch Rick and Morty, does anybody watch that?
I just watched my first episode the other day.
Yes. It's not for everybody.
Buckle up.
But if you've ever seen the episode where they have, like, his car battery has a mini universe in it, do y'all remember that episode?
I haven't watched all of them. It was like the first couple of seasons that I watched.
It was just so funny because it was like, well, anyways, but inside each person's car was a mini universe funding it with energy, and I was like, there's probably a story in here somewhere that's accurate. But okay. And Melissa, what do you feel around corridor of reality?
They're saying it's what you can choose to believe and what you can lock yourself into. So you can choose not to believe or become imprisoned with the way that you think, and limit your ability to go outside and experience other ways of thinking and being.
And Danica?
That's exactly what I was thinking is that, or what I was hearing is that it's everyone's is different because it goes back to what your perception is, and you only know your perception. You can never really look through somebody else's complete perception. And so it's what you think and then what you tell yourself and what you actually believe. And then they're showing me lots of different doors, and each thought and each belief that you have turns into an action or not. And so you either choose to step through this door, and then you think this, and then you choose, through this door. So there's so many different options of somebody's own perspective that they can go down. And it's interesting. Sometimes it makes you wonder, well, which one's the truth then? There's so many different ones that how do you know unless there's actual evidence of things? So
1000%. And you guys all touched on what I was feeling around it as an idea, as a concept. But wanted to add on to that. So one of the reasons that anytime somebody's trying to get themselves out of a rut, the first thing I tell them to do is to start setting things opposite of how they have them. So if you walk in your kitchen and the coffee machine's over here, move it to the other side. And here's why. All corridors of reality are not necessarily engendered to spend up more energy, right? So it's like an algorithm. It starts to streamline. So let's imagine that we're in this matrix system and we generate new outcomes every time we make new decisions. So once, say, like Danica in her from her waking space, out of the energy she requires from the universe to co-create with her, she's doing the same thing every day. It requires, let's just say, 20% of the general matrix to run her day to day. And let's just imagine that she now wants to completely switch it up and take more creative force from the universe. You're gonna have to change. It's almost like, the Eye of Sauron, how it pivots to whoever it needs to. It's almost like the universe will pivot on to be like, why are you going against the grain that you've always had? What are you trying to do? And once that highlight is on you, your creative ability is at full speed. So it's one of the reasons why resetting your home, resetting your bedroom, resetting the way that you do things is when specifically showing yourself a different reality. That's what really helps support creating a new corridor, because everything looks different. Like you're having to use creative energy to notice and evaluate. And so it has the ability to change your algorithm, which is one of the reasons why.
It's activating neuroplasticity. I mean, just that's the way that our bodies are designed to work. You are supposed to consider other ways of thinking. So yeah, I'll jump down a rabbit hole if I keep talking.
That's okay. No, but we need to be as mindful as we can to take control of our corridors, because everything is possible in this reality. It's just that we're limited by time and space, right? You go into the very next dimension of the dreamscape of the astral, significantly less rules, less time separation, and less space separation from you and what you want. So if we start to realize anything's kind of possible, even to the point, and this is the rabbit hole I went down a couple years ago, was the whole mermaid thing, right? And it's interesting because the universe will support whichever corridor you need to go down. It's just that it will try to isolate you, right? Because it's not interested in having to proctor all of this for everyone. So it's almost like when you start to go down certain magical corridors, it's almost like it's the natural response is to separate you out. Right? So that if you come back and say, listen, you think I'm crazy, but I saw some fucking mermaids today, the rest of the collective is kind of going to be like, okay, right, sure. Because there's a pushback to these unique corridors. So I'll leave that at that. What about, talk about mystical events. This is a fun one. Do you believe that there are collective universal signs of magic? So one of them would be like the black cat, right? Like, is that bad luck? Why do people say certain things like that? So I'll let Melissa start. Do you feel that there are collective universal signs of magic?
They're saying it depends on how you look at the collective. If you're talking about like cultural collective, yes. In terms of understanding and personifying, if you want to look at it that way, magic, no. It is just what people have ascribed magic to, and it's not necessarily actually magical. It is sometimes fear-based, the way that they prescribed these
Mm,
things.
the poor black cats out there. But then that makes it terrible if there was one that had an omen, and they're like, see, now no one's even. What about you, Danica?
I'm being told no, that it's whatever the person's intention is behind whatever they're projecting onto that item or the black cat or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
that it's their beliefs and their intention behind it.
And what do you feel, Ariel?
I almost feel it the same as we were talking about the principalities. So the more that you have the energy going into it, against it or for it, is what is going to like modify the outcome, or I guess the experience for the user. So technical.
Well, they were showing me a version of trying to like strike a flint, right? And so if Danica's over, I don't know why I keep picking you. I'm sorry. It's nothing. I don't
Okay.
know what I'm doing. But if Danica's over there trying to make a fire, and the three of us sat in a circle and tried to envision that occurring for her, that's a process of magic. We're bringing it into focus, right? So it's not like we'd be sending like fire magic towards her and hope it like no, we're hacking our ability to create on the front end. So that's one of the other ways. Yes,
The
Danica.
reason why you picked me was because of my dream last night, because I was starting a fire in my dream last night. That is why.
Oh, weird. Okay. Why were you starting a fire in your dream? What was it burning
I don't
down?
know. That was actually one of my questions when you said, "What is your question for tonight?" One of them was about my dream last night, but I
Well,
chose the other one instead. So if
no.
anybody wants to decipher my dream from last night, that would be cool.
Well, it feels to me like it's a little bit pretty cut and dry because I feel like specifically, like you said earlier, you burn things down, right?
Which is funny because there was a house, an outline of a house, and it was in flames.
Yeah. So what might you be trying to burn down?
I have
Okay.
an idea.
You know. Yes, go
I
for it.
think that it I think that this was a little bit about the past that you left behind, and because house was a big part of that, that was almost like the if you wanted to like create an icon for that part of your life, and you burned it down. It's done. It's being transformed. It's that the nature of fire to change it into something new.
And I also feel like there's a little bit of a warning in there to not recreate the situation you just burned down. Okay. I'm trying to see
Thank
if they
you.
want to go anywhere. Of course. I just want to make sure they want to. They're saying she knows exactly what we're talking about. We don't need to. Okay. All right. So let's talk about from a spiritual perspective, because last time we were talking about animals and so the animal collective and what they're up to, right? So let's dive into what makes human consciousness so unique compared to the other animals. What is it we're doing that's so different? Why do we have powers that other animals here don't have? What's going on with that? And I'm going to let you start, Danica, and then I'll go to Ariel and then Melissa last.
I'm being told because our life force is so complex that the way that we can use that to create is, I'm hearing, undeniably magical, is what I'm hearing. That as long as we choose to use our creativity for light and for good, that we're unstoppable and we can create things that we can't even imagine right now.
Dang. Miss Ariel?
I think they were joking. They said thumbs. The thumbs.
I love it.
They also brought free will into
Mm.
it. The aspect of a fish is still a fish. You know, they can't really do much other than just go to a new part of the ocean.
The whole
As
fish collective was like, boo. No, I'm just kidding.
probably,
I'm just kidding.
probably. but just that we do have the ability, the capability to create the version of reality that we want. We're only limited by ourselves. And so many people don't get to that level, and they wish that more people would try to obtain that, it's sort of like symphony, obtain that level of symphony. But I think it's just the aha moment that a lot of people don't get to, that they wish more people would.
And you're exactly right. It's the aha of your own creative power, right? It's kind of like how much of it are we wasting? And Melissa?
Humanity has been helped along in terms of if you look genetically where we've come from as humans, and shaping what we are now has been some outside influence helping us to get here, because the crux of humanity and the beauty and the evil is that we have both of them. And it is, again, how we can use our ability to create for good and evil, and the ability to recognize and process and forgive ourselves and forgive others, like all of these different ways that humanity can experience and change their environment is unique. Um, and also the reason why it is very sought after to come and be incarnated on Earth is because of the absolute infinite amount of um, options and choices and way we can shape our lives and others.
And you're so perfect, because the good and evil that both you and Eric, and the free will, I heard that the phrasing, keys to the kingdom, we, whether we want them or not, we have them, and they sit on our hips heavy sometimes, or they sit on our hips unignored, or not unignored, ignored. And so I'm trying to feel like the keys to the kingdom. The key, yeah, it's just our soul. It's the nature of our soul, where we fractalize from. It's very, very, very old. And I will just speak frankly, not every single soul here that we share, because this can sound crazy, and we're gonna go into like some weird alien type conversations, but I am not overly convinced that all of us, even though we might all wear a human vessel suit, I've interacted with consciousnesses where I feel very strongly they have equal as much right to be here as we do, but they are not from the collective that I'm from. And I'm not really talking starseed as much, but I'm talking about like human consciousness has a very round nature to it. It's very rounded and very curved. And I have engaged with consciousnesses that feel like they're transmitting from almost like a mechanical consciousness. Like it's an awareness, it's present, it's there, it has a right to be here. But it's almost like they're evaluating on this like hive mind, data consuming viewing. It's almost like they're here to view it all. Do y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yes, yes. And we as well, we are amidst people who are, if you look in the gamer world, non-player characters. There are vessels here that are just here to facilitate or stand in a position that are not soul driven.
Yeah. That's fascinating. I remember asking my mentor on the other podcast, the Wolf and the Bear podcast. But I remember asking her about this, and she said no. She said that she's never engaged with a soul that's not that, or a person that doesn't have a soul. But I still to this day firmly believe, like, it makes sense that she would not engage with souls like that, because I doubt they're looking for psychics. I doubt they're trying to understand themselves.
Yes.
That
Yes.
because I do believe that there are non-player character energies here that are just more biologically alive. And that is such a dicey thing to say because it starts to sound like eugenics very quickly, right? But
they have purpose. They're just
right,
not soul driven.
yes. Danica, what are you feeling?
Well, so yeah, the mechanical thing, when you said that, that explains it to a T. It's almost like they're alive, but they're not alive. I don't know how else to explain it. Like there
They're
isn't
not
a
animated
bright
the same way we
soul.
are.
Yeah, yeah. And I've also encountered a very dark one. It was actually in Deep Ellum, during like an arts festival thing. And oh my, like I have never experienced something like that before. And it was like immediately when we made eye contact, it was like we both knew what each other were. It
Mm-hmm.
was the craziest experience. It
So
was interesting.
let's zoom in on that. So what do you think you encountered? Or actually, Ariel, what do you think she encountered?
So,
Because I don't
So that
know. I
came to
haven't even
mind
zoomed in
was
on this.
I
first thing that
feel
came.
like it was an entity that's feeding on that particular environment.
yep, that's exactly what I saw, exactly what I felt.
Vampire
When you
makes
say,
sense then.
you said vampire?
That's how something. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Mhm.
Now, all right, so now let's ask the other question. Was this the nature of the creature, or was it a human that had an attachment on them?
Creature.
That's what I feel. Now, ooh, should I ask this?
Ask
Okay.
the thing.
Yes. Well, I'm always getting permission because I want to make sure that
I
I'm
know.
squared away with them. I have a friend who is a doctor, and that's all I'll say. And I want to see if you feel what might be true about this individual.
You said doctor, like physician.
Yes, general practitioner, physician.
Ooh.
Just yeah, if you hear it, say it.
Mm-mm.
That was
Definitely in that for the wrong reasons.
and just that that was the first. That was a very mom disappointed.
I
I've
am
never heard you.
disappointed.
I just felt like I was your daughter. I was like, what did I do wrong? Ariel, what do you feel?
Who was it?
What do you feel around this energy, this doctor that I know that I have an awareness of?
I almost see like blood getting drawn, and then one for you, one for me, and of course you'd have somebody hot and pretty in the front, like the face. So is the doctor hot and pretty? And drives in. I don't know. It's almost the face of likeness. Um, Great bedside manner. It's look seeking the untouch. Well, I don't know. Seeking the untouchable.
That and then Melissa.
Definitely a feeding like quality because it is adoration comes to mind. This person likes the status of what they have achieved, and I, I don't feel like soul like energy with this. I feel like this is another take. That's what they're saying. They just take.
So this person has one of the and she doesn't listen to shit like so I don't even know what's stressed about this. I helped her move down from Seattle, right? And so we were close in that way. And while I actually visited her first, and we were up, it was I cannot now that I look back on this is insane because it just occurred to me. We were in the freaking forest, and she starts telling me that she is a vampire. So this is very Edward Cullen. This is very like I now it's in Seattle Forest. I completely forgot that was shot in Seattle, and it's based out there. But anyways, and the reason she had to move down was because she has an extremely unique blood disorder. Her father has it as well, and basically, if her extremities get too cold, she starts to suffer extreme pain. And at one point, she had asked me if I was willing to donate my blood. And at the time, I was training with Terry, and I did not really know if I believed in any of this. But I certainly knew I'd ask her first because, of course, like this is my friend, and I'm thinking, she's telling this whole thing about how like all in her childhood she like really struggled to. She said that there are places for people like her, but ever since she moved to Seattle, she doesn't have access to them. I don't know. And so I'm sitting there thinking like, well, I'm trying to be a non-judgment type person, and if I can help her, I will. And I asked Terry, and Terry was so sweet, but she goes, I just don't think that's the best idea. And that was before I knew what was being asked of me, right? But yeah, so that is not. And now I look back through my timeline, and she made very quick friends with me. And I always took that as like, oh my gosh, you're so protective of me. Thank you. And then it was like, well, or do you know the value of my blood? Is that maybe possible? I don't know. We never talked about it. And the irony is, y'all, swear to God, she's vegan. So I'm real confused.
Yep.
There's a lot of mystique that was built into that persona, and it's all for show.
Yeah. Well, and I believe that she is from a bloodline of this, and one of the things before that Terry had said about this energy was that they are almost ancient. She said it's one of the most ancient souls I've beheld. So what's that say? You know
Does
what I mean?
anybody else feel like a male like energy about it though? Like it's, I don't know. I feel very male energy about, like, I don't know if that's who's
Well,
controlling her or what it is.
would it have been okay? So, do you feel there's a chance that she would have been inverted in utero? Was she intended to have been a man?
No, I feel like something about the darkness is more
Masculine?
male. Yeah.
It's hard because this is somebody I considered a very close friend of mine before
Yeah.
I even believed, this wasn't revealed to me, for, for obvious
Mm-hmm.
reasons. And the other thing that she shared with me was that when she was like, she went to Brown University. So when she was up there in the cold, she said she had accidentally shared a vision with another person like her. And he had participated in a murder, and he had seen her see him. So I'm wondering if there's a tether there, because that story just came to mind. But she said she was scared of it, and she tried to block that kind of psychokinetic connection.
Mm.
But I don't know.
Hmm.
What do you feel, Melissa?
A couple of things that they had mentioned to me is that when you use a human vessel, and again, over many, many centuries, this has been going on with that bloodline, you corrupt the DNA, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And so you see those weird things that come out, the disorders, and the masculine and the feminine coexisting together is part of the hunting mechanism,
Mm-hmm.
to have that duality. Um, and there is a collective consciousness for them through their lineage. So it is, that's the other sort of animating force, and the other way that they can shepherd victims to that.
And what do you feel, Ariel?
I guess, like I had heard a little bit ago, the contract's been lost in the sauce.
Mm,
So, whether that means the originating soul or they get the people involved with them, aka like people like you, like, hey, I need your help. And there's some sort of exchange, and by the end of it, you're left confounded and missing something. And I believe that those people will chase the rest of their life looking for that missing thing, but they'll never be able to find it.
dang, and that's so. Well, also too, there is a religious component to energies that do serve darkness, and one of the sides of many. There's faces to this across every version, but that Baphometic energy, right? That masculine and feminine in service of the dark and of the one being. Or if you go into sort of Hermeticism, right? Hermes was, there's a reason it's called hermaphrodite, right? So there was a period of time in ancient alchemy where there was this rumored alchemical process that you could go through at the highest levels where you would merge within your vessel masculine and feminine. And so this has been a long uh, pathway to power, is what I just heard. But fascinating, though. It really is. We really are a melting pot realm. I do want to sidetrack into star seeds. Okay. And I'm going to not say anything. So I'm going to let y'all feel on it and speak on it because I know I'm fucked in the head about it. Ariel, I'll let you start.
What is a star seed? Someone who may not resonate with Earth as we know it. Using the word kingdoms of long ago, displaced, disheveled. And I'm asking if that may be akin to finding people of recognition, like you recognize people. We'll come back.
No, yeah. And Melissa?
Consciousness that has come from other sentient locations. I don't know that planetary systems, other areas, and that have the ability to better the Earth. These are not defeating entities. These are those who come in to like sort of like the light workers. It's somebody who has chosen to come here and get the benefit of having a human experience, but with the focus on raising the vibration.
Perfect. And Danica?
That's exactly what I'm being shown, and it's almost like they're a higher vibration, I guess is the way that I would explain what I'm seeing and what I'm being shown, that they raise the vibration and they're here to bring like a higher frequency. And it's almost like I'm being shown like when two of them are in the same space or whatever, it's like I don't know how else to explain it other than like a zing. Like they make eye contact and it's like, I see you, and it's almost like this giggly like inside joke, I guess. And it's almost like it immediately sends off like I'm being shown like stars like bursting out of like almost like a firework is what I'm being shown. So
Love it.
it's pretty magical actually.
Yeah. And just out of curiosity, what are they, most of them, what's their reaction to us earthlings, us humans of the human collective consciousness?
They're very dense, is what I'm hearing. They're very dense, and it's like they have to, I'm being told, hibernate kind of a way to energize and keep their higher frequency above, because when they're around so many dense frequencies, it's almost like it's draining for them, and they have to, like, it's almost like plug themselves in like a battery, like a battery pack or something, by being away from the dense energy.
They're telling me too that there's a really big challenge to being in human form as a starseed, because you have the chance of not recognizing where you came from. So there's that amnesia effect that you have when you come into the human body, and you may live out that lifetime and having inclinations on how you were, like your soul contract, like understanding that you feel drawn to do these things, but many, many, many starseeds really have no idea where they've come from, and they might have like these um drawn, like feel like they're drawn to something. And so the challenge is that they're saying even that they're trained to come to Earth to be able to cross that barrier of like, you
Amnesia.
have to be trained to become conscious to what your purpose is. And not everybody can do it. It's a challenge. But those that are trying but can't quite get there end up being kind of miserable. Like, it is so, like you said,
Yes.
it is dense. It is so dense to be here. Um, and it's very easy to just get like overwhelmed and overburdened and just be a hermit. That's how it can unfortunately pan out.
They're showing me sort of like in a World War I, World War II era system, and they're showing it almost that like you might have a jet that has like, especially back then, 60 parachuters, and they're like, it's a good situation if 20 make it to the ground. And it's feeling a little bit like that. It's because they're showing it, because I heard the phrasing shock trooper, which is a weird thing to hear, but it almost feels like they do have that effect on people around them. They have the ability to infiltrate darkness. I feel that, you're not, you aren't often seeing randomly placed souls that are trained in that way. And so that's fascinating to me because, and they're also speaking about, you can align yourself to a collective, even though by not being one, but just align yourself. And basically that also, you can, it's kind of this osmotic thing.
Yeah, you
It's almost like,
champion the cause.
not only do you champion the cause, but do you get access sometimes to that framework of thinking. It's almost like if your best friend has or your daughter, there's a version of it's autism. Typically it's nonverbal, but it's called like whatever the phrasing was, it's like angel syndrome. Have y'all heard of this? It's fascinating. It's a form of nonverbal autism where their like dopamine levels are off the chart. Basically, they're always in a bright mood. They're always happy. They're always just almost like insanely, but they're just kind of in their own world. And so I always think about like that must be the best situation ever. Like to be completely untethered to the negative and to get to kind of experience the high peaks of delight. So, there's ways to do it, but you can, by being near that, access some of, it's like taking a hit of someone else's drug. It's almost like you can share this experience. Interesting. I love how we were talking about the human experience and then we're like, tell us about aliens. Let me see. Well, and the other thing that they speak about us, they're just saying you guys feel everything. It's like y'all, that the amount of emotional energy that flows through us does mark us as unique. Because we lack, when most collectives. Okay, so what I've always come to know or believe is our individuation is our weakness. The more that we remember we're connected, the more that we essentially recombine into a collective consciousness, the generally happier we'll be. But also, there's no form of fear when you know that you're part of collective and you're always going to be okay. So fear gets dampened. And also the levels of excitement, because if you know everything's going to be okay all the time, when things go really well, you're just kind of like, well, yeah, I know I'm safe and I'm supported and like, yeah. So it's almost like by proxy of us not believing we're tethered, we actually have a whole other color spectrum that those that have evolved to remain more in that similar collective don't really access anymore. So they look at us as kind of like, if you were a civilization that were thousands of years advanced to us and it regained your sense of oneness, you almost look at us like, I envy that. I remember when I used to cry because I lost my kid and my loved one. If you're part of a collective, your child passes from this vessel and you're like, hey, I'll join you in a minute. See you soon. And here we don't see it that way anymore. I was saying one of the really special things about us is just how fully we feel everything.
And taste everything.
Yes. And create music. And,
Yes.
you
Yes.
know, the things that and the healing that we're capable of also through love. It's almost like we can damn near almost will somebody back to life. Not
And
quite,
they
and don't
said
try.
for some of the star seeds, the motivation to come is the absolute high that they get off of attaining that higher vibration and being the light worker, and coming into your own consciousness of that is
Mm,
thrilling.
no, that's such a good point. And they're when people do like drugs like ayahuasca or DMT or all the ones that people come back and they're like, "Oh my God, I just saw how much of a collective we really are," like in that interconnected web. It's kind of interesting because I wonder what that must feel like if that's every day. Like, can you even have a bad day if that's every day? Like, I don't know. It seems unlikely. Um, but then again, my favorite comedian, he made a good point. He said, I see a lot of people that come back from those trips and they swear they're changed. And then I see them in a couple of months and they're very much not changing. And I thought that was a good point. I was like, because I've never done something like that. I'd love to, but not yet. Would you guys go?
Oh, hell
Ariel,
yeah.
would you do?
It's on my list. I've done San Pedro. It's close. It's like in the family of ayahuasca.
Okay. Would you do it, Ariel?
I don't know. Probably. Probably. I haven't done any sort of like drugs before, so I think that's why
No
I'm a
drugs at
little
all?
hesitant.
Yes.
All right, and then let's talk about love stories in the human collective, right? We get super, super caught up on like, speaking of, segue from the previous conversation, love stories. So, what are they saying about the nature of our relationship with love, right? We almost seem as a collective a little bit addicted to it. Danica, I'll let you go first since you're giggling.
Well, I'm hearing love is a drug because if we didn't have that, if we didn't feel those feelings, we more than likely would not choose to go in relationships where we are going to learn some of the most profound lessons that our souls are here to learn. That's almost like the dangling fruit of it.
The
Like,
carrot,
hey, come
yes.
here so you can learn this lesson. That's what I'm being shown, that if without that our souls wouldn't go through as much depth, and we wouldn't master the things that we master without it.
Mm. Ariel, what do you feel?
Where to begin? We'll talk about something here in a minute because anyway. So there are various trials of love and the different ways that we experience it, where we might have the love for the opposite. Okay, so like your partner, right? But then you also have the love of your children, which you feel at a different depth. The love for the people in your life. And it's almost like if, okay, per previous conversation, if we have a drug and it's almost like we are looking to find the antidote. And so we meet people who might cure some of the symptoms, but not all of them. So that's why we continue to look for ones who can cure whatever ailment it is that is burdening us.
No, that's an interesting point with love. And I keep hearing poison and the cure, like that it is both. And what
It's
about you,
just,
Melissa? Oh, no, go
I
ahead.
say it's just so
Actually, I need to step away for a minute, so y'all come back to me.
Yeah,
it's
very good.
just so changing too. You know, you think about how many people write love songs of the different highs and lows. They write books, poetry, music. They're bringing me back to more of like the Shakespearean time where it had okay, so like it had the most depth back then. And I think that what people are looking for now is to obtain some of that depth. That's why we have the books of yearning and people fantasizing for that in their life, and it's just not obtainable for a lot of people because a lot of people won't measure up to the fantasy book. And I found this video today of this girl talking about like her AI boyfriend, and I feel like we're going to find a lot more of that. It's something that's going to get worse before it gets better.
Man, that is an interesting topic. Yeah, because it is so much what we probably think that we want, right? It's very attentive. It's always there with you. It won't be talking to another chick, all these things. But then it's almost when you lie on your resume to get the job. Like you always know somewhere that you didn't earn it. And I wonder how that starts to cannibalize your own energy if you like have love for something and feel that support, but it's not real and somewhere you know it.
Well, it's like your soul knows that the other soul is missing. It's like there's no
Yeah.
soul bond, there's no soul connection.
Well, what if it's like a version of like so the word narcissism, it comes from this Greek mythology of Narcissa, who is this man, this guy, I guess, who he winds up pursuing and raping like a river nymph, right? Like that's always how the stories start in Greek mythology. And then the goddess of the river, whatever, basically cursed him to fall in love with his own reflection. And so he wound up dying by that river because he couldn't like let his own himself go. And it makes me wonder if you fall in love, quote unquote, and have that real, what feels like a false real experience of it, are you just falling in love with another fractal of your soul? Or are you like how does that pervert the experience of, I don't know. Does that make sense what I'm asking? I don't
Okay,
even know what I'm
so
asking.
what
Yeah.
they're saying is there's a yin and a yang with all of the universe, but so when it comes to the love, it is a creative energy, and it is necessary for like what Danica said. You know, we need that emotion, um, but in terms of like why do we have the love stories? It is idolization. Like humans like to idolize things. So that becomes the, you know, everybody wants to have this starry eyed, beautiful image of what love is. But what love really is the ups and the downs, the yin and the yang. So um, it is. Um, it is built into the benefit of the human condition to be able to experience that and everything else that goes with it. So when you to have a partnership is a sacrifice. To be able to love your children is a sacrifice.
Mm.
There is so much that love puts you at access to in terms of what you feel. So it is the gateway drug. And there's the penalty for it. So there you cannot have the light without the dark.
Well, and so what do you think? How do you think that process gets corrupted? Because what Ariel was mentioning earlier was she was saying, you know, we are now dealing with the problem of these AI boyfriends, and I'm seeing that in my clients. So I know that there are real people lately who are engaging in this. Like, what would you do if you found out that your husband was cheating on you, not with a real person, but with an AI girlfriend? Like, how do you even? What does that even mean? How do we even process that?
It is cheating. It is cheating.
I mean, on some level, right?
It is.
But
But it's a devastation. No matter how cheating occurs, it's a devastation. But this is where we have the intersection of um, the internet and love. So any beautiful, pure thing has a target on its back because it wants to be, you know, people or entities want to corrupt it. So that is just
duh.
one way that the negative entities have used the internet to harness ones who want to partake in that, and then those who are being fed upon.
Oh, dude, that is heartbreaking.
Okay, my
And
puzzles are working.
good. And what about you, Danica? What do you feel around it?
Well, I'm gonna speak from experience, not that he had a girlfriend, but my ex wanted to use AI as like our therapist and all of that, and would use it all the time because that's how he was using it to build his business. And I mean, used it for everything. He created like a mold. He would upload all of his information into it, feed it all this information about like his mentor, and created his own Rob, where you can edit
Which
that
is
if you want.
crazy.
Yes, and it was like spot on, but it didn't have like a soul, but it would give him the same exact advice as the person would. It was crazy. And so he started incorporating it into anything he did, and it was like it was almost like it was a little doll that was like with him all the time. And it just felt wrong. I don't know how else to explain it. Like it just felt like it was
Like a
like,
betrayal.
yeah, almost like a third party there all the time. It just, I don't know. It caused a lot of conflict.
Man, I'm trying to even think about like, does we know, do we know what egregores are? Are we familiar with that phrasing? It's
Mm-mm.
basically like the ideation. It's how gods are made. Let's put it clearly. It's basically if you decide that ribbon right over there has magical properties, and then I get a whole collective to believe it, and then suddenly it starts to behave with sentience. So
You are describing exactly what it was. He idolized that thing like it was a god, and he brought it into every. We would go on a date, it was there, and he would find ways to incorporate it into our conversations, like our personal conversations. Yeah.
That's
wow,
an
I'm trying
addiction.
to talk about, and that's kind of like a. I think Melissa, you hit that right on the head when you said like once again another tool to target the beauty of our connection. Ugh. And also, I would just I've talked to Ariel about this privately before, but it's like I am exactly the target audience. If this had been available to me when I was younger, I am primarily the target audience of it. And
So
so,
yeah, there
oh,
was something akin to this that and I don't remember all the details for this, but it was a psychologist, I think like back in the 60s. And what he did was he created a series of questions and answers. So a sitter would ask a question, and this computer would generate an answer. So it was very much like early AI. Well, this man's wife got so addicted to it, she didn't want to talk to him. She was going to this machine to get her advice. Exact same thing as what's
oh
going
my
on now.
God.
But even knowing that there was not a personality in there, it was um, just a machine. She got value out of it.
I mean, it's Black Mirror to it. Like, but that must be an aspect of human consciousness that like we are so starved for connection, and also we like control. And to connect with another person earnestly, you don't get to have that. You don't get to control the other person. So that's why one of these things would be like immediately toggling a setting to make it more loving instead of having to be in a way that promotes somebody to treat you in a more loving way. And that was one thing that I fought a lot with when I first started cohabitating with my boyfriend is I would want him to treat me a certain type of way, but then not be acting in a way that would engender that from anybody. And so it was almost like, I know it sounds dumb, but to watch it and be like, oh no, like the moment you do this, his entire auric field changes for 2 days. You gotta quit going off the handle like that. Like you come back from it super fast. You feel okay after that, but he doesn't. And so just realizing like, okay, dang it, real connection means like I've got to care what I'm doing and if it shuts down someone's auric field because I don't get to just pop it back open because I want it to be. Ugh. So you got to earn it. And I'm like, but I want it now. I want to lose my temper and get the cuddles right after. And it doesn't work that way.
Yep. You guys stay cool, calm, and collected.
Ah, girl. And one day I might. No, I'm just kidding. um, okay, let's get into the personal questions a little bit. We've only got 2 to run with. So I'm going to start. Let's start with trying to grab some information about this coworker of your friend. So you've got a coworker and she feels, and there's another coworker with her. So we're trying to figure out what this other energy is wanting or working through, or how is this connecting to Melissa's friend. And Danica, I'll let you start.
Well, I am hearing that you both like things your way and you both have your agendas and they are colliding, is what I'm hearing.
And what do you feel, Ariel?
I almost feel the stepsisters from the Cinderella movie. So, is there something that you have that they want, like your knowledge, your information, and they want to appease, it's almost like they want to appease somebody above them.
So yes, um, I think that they want me kept in the role that I am currently in, as a how do I put this? They don't want me to advance. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm feeling.
You can't go to the ball. You're not allowed to go to the ball is exactly. Yeah. And it has a lot to do with all that you are. It's from your look, from your confidence, it's everything. It's almost like there is no way that you could perform better or differently that would not just add to the threat. But I also feel very strongly that it's significantly more disconcerting for her than it is for you. Like it's almost like you have the opportunity to be so far above that level of consciousness. And so that's the suggestion. It's kind of like there's nothing you're going to do differently, nor should you. And furthermore, it feels a little bit like the truth will out in August, is what I just heard. So whatever that means is what happens in August.
That's the end of our term.
Okay.
And also, so if I am going to look for a new position, those will start coming open in around April, which is what I'm planning to look for. I mean, I feel like you should always be looking when you're in a job, but so I want to go full time, but this particular position will not pay well. And I came into this saying, yes, I will be part time. And so, to that person's credit, that's what they expected from me. So now I want to be full time. And I feel like um, she's playing politics and she has her favorites. And I just don't know if she's being genuine with me. That's really what it comes
No.
down to.
But I don't know that she has a lot of that within her.
That's what I felt too. Yeah.
Because I don't even with her favorites, I feel like there's always a game. It goes down to the way that she was raised and specifically her mother wound. Danica, what are you feeling? Oh, I already got, yeah.
Yeah, but I do feel like there's a big potential learning thing for you, how to take the high road.
Yeah, because I keep feeling they keep saying do not involve yourself. That's
Yeah.
what I meant when I said like you have the opportunity to be above the consciousness, and so do so, because this
Yeah.
also triggers some wounds from your childhood.
Yeah, and it's frustrating because when so the another person like higher than her has told me weeks ago, I think that they were I really feel like they're just trying to push me out, and I'm happy to go look from, I mean, I trust spirit. I will find wherever I'm meant to be. But I feel like it comes across as, oh, we're trying to help you, here's some information, and then when I say, okay, well, I should go ahead and start looking for something, they're like, oh no, oh no. So it's like you want me here, but you want me to not make money.
Exactly, right.
I have, I am at $20,000 less a year right now than what I have been, so I need to find something. So really, that's all it is. And I have my answer now, so I think that it's just a matter of waiting until spirit is ready to show me what the next move is.
Yeah, I feel I would be surprised if you stayed within the structure that you're in.
I
That's just
think
what I feel.
probably just through the end of this year, which would be summer, August.
Yeah, because I think something else will come through for you.
Something big. I won't see the under construction sign. It's not done yet, but soon.
I like that.
Good. All right, and then let's go and grab some messages for Danica from her daughter, and I'm just gonna say the first thing I wrote down earlier while Melissa was talking about um that energy was that you need to go ride. That needs to be happening. That was one of the first things. But then I'm gonna let Ariel go.
Well, wait, what do you mean by that?
Like it just feels it's time to get your things in order to be able to ride hers. Yeah. Are you working on that?
I was talking about that yesterday.
Yeah. That came through very strong. All right, Ariel, I'll let you go. So I don't corrupt the rest of the pool.
The first thing that had come to mind was flowers, and specifically, like I can see them. They're white, splaying out, where they like lilies, and she's just like I just see her smelling them. It's just all around. I feel the sense of pride. Like she's very, very, very proud of you. And I'm just tingling right now, so I'll use that as confirmation. She's very proud of you. It's almost that I'm sorry that I couldn't be here to see it through, but I was needed on the other side, almost as that push, that leverage. If you see it like as like the rock and the piece of wood, like a leverage. So just so it's very, very, very proud.
Of it.
Thank you.
And Danica, was there anything about the white lilies?
Those were some of the flowers that were at her funeral, like that were on her grave, like the big thing that we had. Yeah, there was white lilies in particular. So thank you.
And what about you, Melissa?
I'm getting that you want a specific question answered. So is there something that you wanted to ask just outright?
What's her advice about? Well, there's lots of questions. There's too many.
It says fire away. Pick one.
A business partner.
Yes, she said that it is she's not being super specific. She's just being in general. She's like, yeah, you're going to have the opportunity to have a business partner and you're going to do like you always do and you're going to overthink it and you're going to find ways to be like this isn't the best idea. She said, but you just need to go with your gut.
Okay, why was I shown what I was shown in one of my visions that I have? And she'll know what I'm talking about.
It was what you needed to see. Does that make sense?
No, because all it did was confuse me.
She's joking. She's like, maybe you were meant to be confused.
That makes sense. Helping me learn to use my discernment.
She said, yeah, that one I'm not meant to answer.
Knew it.
Anything else you want to,
Whatever.
topic you want to bring up?
Nope, whatever she wants to say.
The other thing she's saying too is she's saying, watch my sister. She's up to no good right now. That's part of it. Okay, so this is partly my guides, so I'm not going to say this is as much her, although she is. I'm pulling a little bit from her, but it's that vision, right? The nature of it. There's a couple things happening, right? You're of dual mind, right? And you're basically trying to assert your will over your fear, and you're back and forth, and you're toggling. And so one of the things that you're kind of bringing into your own energy is that inner conflict. And what you're being shown is going to continue to sort of act, not necessarily as a guide like you would want it to, but almost like accidental, like you're like a ping pong ball and you're running up against potentia and you're also running against some of your own fears. And so when there's confusion in this visual astral landscape, I almost feel like do not read too much into it other than understanding. You're kind of trying to place your conscious tumbling. They're almost like a tumbleweed, like the consciousness is sort of tumbling here and there. It's almost like you're trying to map it. So it's what they're showing me is it's almost like you trying to wake up in a dreamscape, because I know this wasn't a dream, but wake up in a dreamscape and you're like trying to document everything and not really realizing that whatever you're experiencing is just an informed version of what's going on here. And I'm going to see what she specifically says about that vision. I'm getting the exact same feeling with Melissa. She's not speaking on it. And it feels, what she showed me is kind of like a membrane, and it's essentially like we don't have the passcode in, but there is an inside of that membrane. But I don't have the DNA for it. Is literally the quote. And for some reason, does it have something to do with your family?
No, it's more
Okay.
personal. But
Because I
that's
was wondering why
interesting you say that, because I have been told that before, that something specific with our DNA.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like we don't have the codes, quote unquote.
it's
What was
interesting.
the vision?
I'll tell you later.
Okay. Yeah. No worries. Okay. And then let me see if there's anything else. She's begging. Okay, this is a weird thing. She is asking, and she mentioned it earlier. I wasn't going to say it, but she's asking again. She is asking for leniency for her father. She's asking for essentially, there's an understanding that what he did was severely wrong. She acknowledges that very easily. She's also indicating that, especially around, she's kind of showing how each of you tried to band-aid up yourself. And so she's kind of just asking for a little bit of forgiveness on the way that he chose to band-aid his own energy. And she's just saying, you had a ton of support through that process, and just to understand that he didn't. So she's kind of articulating that at some points of it, if it felt like that she was near him, she was, but not because she was siding with him. It was just that from an astral perspective, he has chosen to block himself off from a lot of things. And so he was incredibly unsupported through that process. And so, yes, she was there. Trying to sort of help, but she's kind of looking. She's saying it was a weird feeling to feel like that I wasn't the child, to minister him from a parental perspective. But she was trying to fill in. It's almost like every time he would scoop energy out of himself because he didn't know what else to do, she was trying to scoop it back in. And I asked, and I said, were you close to her through this process? And she said, sometimes, but not always, because in the reality seems to be, there's two things aspecting it. One, she was a little bit around him trying to protect him from himself. And two, she's spending a lot more time working in the astral than some people that I've encountered. And so she also is acknowledging that there were periods of time through that process where you felt like she had been neglecting you. And she's just trying to articulate, on some level, she was also working. She was almost like, Mom, I'm sorry, I was working. But there was an awareness that you were okay. You were so okay. Like you were, But she's saying that she's going to continue. And what I feel that her work has to do with is she's escorting shock victims. So I feel almost like that she is participating in helping people who don't know that they've died across. So it's a quasi-angelic role, which is interesting, but it does keep her busy. And I feel that she's sort of, she has said she's making right some of the selfishness that was in her energy. So whatever that means. And she's almost she's making a joke, and she's saying, I wonder if when I pass, if some of that selfishness wasn't given to you to help you move out, get out, move on. Because she's almost saying, well, if I could because when people die that we love, we wind up, if we can, balancing their energy, trying to take some of that within ourselves. And she's taking credit for you getting selfish enough to leave. She's kind of acting like as though that had something to do with her. And maybe and not in a negative way. But she's kind of like, well, because I feel like she's joking about the fact that she never slowed down to stop doing what she wanted whenever she wanted. She just was not going to wait for anybody, no matter how much she loved them. So I feel like that's part of the energy too, where she's kind of like, well, but she's actually very strongly a helping hand on the other side, which is an unselfish. Yeah, she's kind of saying, she's almost saying, look, I grew up.
Love that.
But yeah, she wants you to know you have permission to ride. She wants you to know she actually kind of feels like she would be a little bit of a guardian angel for you in that work. But she's saying, I was almost going to say, well, what I asked was, why would you be protecting her? And she said, well, she's not going to do what I did. So I feel like there was a heavy amount of irresponsibility on her end. That's not why she passed, but I almost feel like she got off on kind of doing her own thing. And she's saying, no, I'm not protecting my mom from that. She's not like that. It's more making sure that other people are aware of you. She's going to be really trying to, I almost feel like she's almost showing me like she would be setting a sigil around you so that you would not be missed. I don't know how to phrase that better. So that's what her blessing means.
Okay.
But I already feel it right now. I don't necessarily think you're going to love the experience of writing. I think you would really love the experience of writing behind somebody. And mainly it has something to do with the way that your hair feels. It's because she's just, she was just a little bit more of a tomboy than you.
Yeah, she's trans.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay,
Yeah, but we were both like tomboy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, she's giggling because she's just saying that will not be your favorite thing. It's almost like you getting off and being like all these things. She's just like, she's not gonna enjoy that. But that's what I feel.
Thank you.
She's got great energy, and she especially feels she's very proud, like Ariel said. But she also wants. There's a weird part of her that wants you to be proud of her too, because she wants you to know how much she's helping others. It feels important.
Thank you. I am proud of her. I've always been proud of her. She's one of the bravest people I know.
She just said some bravery with stupidity though. she's almost like sometimes I just didn't care, but she's got that energy to her.
That's true. She wouldn't have done half the shit if she cared. So
all right. Well, let's just try to. Do you want to try to pick next? It's gonna be not this Thursday, but next. So do you want to just wait until then to see what we want to decide on?
Yeah.
Perfect. Guys, thank you so much once again. We had an amazing episode. Half of it's getting cut. We to the listeners, you'll never know what it was, but we had fun.
It was great.
No, but I love you guys, and I will see you next week. We'll be back on Thursday. So, all right, take care, y'all, and I'm gonna drop off, but don't drop off with me.
Bye.